Hi, I'm Yvette Belleza.
Jessica Faust.
We're going to be talking about the SONA, or State of the Nation Address from President.
Benigno Aquino III.
Yeah.
So, we'll begin with what we thought of the overall speech. I think that, no offense, but it was all lies. I didn't believe one thing of it. I mean, there are some things that, I could somewhat agree with, but in general, I think that the Philippines still needs a lot of work on.
I think that the speech was very, what is this called? Like dramatic? It was kind of dramatic, right?
It was too over.
Yeah, it was very over dramatic. It was something that, you want to hear, not so much of the things that are actually happening.
So, we'll begin with, he starts off his speech saying that the Philippines has a lot of dirty politics, and I believe that's true, but they don't do anything about the dirty politics.
For example, the pork barrel scam. It's been going on for about a year and a half or so, right? It's been going on a year and a half or so, and no one has been convicted of their crimes, even though everyone knows their crimes already. They already know what they've done, and they're still living the life that they lead.
Like they're somewhat like paying off people with the money that they're collecting. Like they don't do anything about it, which is really infuriating because the country has so many of them that we can't succeed if they're constantly just bringing us back down.
If our foundation is shit, then our country is gonna be shit.
And then Aquino begins to talk about TESTA, or the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, which I've never heard of before
Until
this
we
speech.
read the speech. Basically, what TESTA is it's like an outreach program to those who need, what is this called? Like education until the age of 18. My problem is that how come?
No, that's the welfare one.
Oh.
This one is the scholarships that the Philippines has invested 1.6 billion pesos to give people working scholarships so that they can go to college, and then basically when they graduate from college, they'll create a job.
Basically, how come all of these, TESTA thing, TESTA, whatever, I've never heard of it until this speech. I'm pretty sure I've actually asked like my family members if they know about it. They've never heard of it. And they live in the Philippines. So why is it so unattainable if it's for people who need scholarship money?
Yeah, for people who can't pay for the college. Like, it was saying how the minimum that like people would have to pay is like 500 pesos in order for them to go to college, but then it can also go up until 7,155 pesos.
Which in our terms isn't that much, but for education, it's pretty okay. The thing is that how come, we don't hear a lot of success stories from people? We've only heard of 2 success stories from TESTA. We've seen the buildings around the Philippines, but we don't really see any people really out in their business, out in the industry doing all this stuff. It's kind of like a secret, but no one really knows that it's there,
Right, and then they also start talking about like the amount of people here in the Philippines and how we're trying to create jobs, and that's related to TESTA too. But as we have so many people here in the country, you can't really create enough jobs for everyone to have something. And if you're constantly letting people into the country, because the Philippines is now rated on the scale of Moody, Finch, and Standard & Poor's, right? So businesses can actually come in and try to invest into the country. But if there's so many people here, how are you going to start making companies? The country isn't nice enough for you to actually create more and more. So if we're adding more people, then you're just causing more problems. Because when there's more people and you don't already have control over everything, then
It's just gonna be chaos.
yeah, it's chaos.
It's already chaos as it is, and for the government to think of that our expansion into to Europe and to other countries is a good thing. It's really not, because we're basically putting ourselves into a deeper hole as it already is.
Right, we're in so far that they even start talking about like our infrastructure, right? If we're creating more buildings, like how has Global City has just risen up for the past few years, it just continued rising, becoming the more business capital of the Philippines, right? If we're continuously building up stuff and doing more projects and building things, why are we putting money towards that rather than towards the people or towards things that we actually need? For like example, the roads. If you live on McKinley Road, there's construction going on right now, which is causing so much traffic, and it's really annoying because they start on one side and then they just stop and continue on the next side, leaving a four-way traffic leading into only two, and then soon enough it's just going to be one. And the roads that they're fixing, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're fixing pipelines or something, but when they put the cement back into the roads, it's not smooth. It causes more bumps, which makes drivers, instead of going like, vroom, they go vroom, like that, and it's not fun. It takes you forever. Traffic is just too much right now. Yeah, no, it's too far.
For as of population, what we saw in the speech that they didn't have was basically they keep saying how we've stuck with the budget, or we're like under budget. But I feel that the Philippines really needs to over budget, and we need to overspend. And the things that we need to overspend on is not on our government, but we need to overspend on our people. We need to overspend on like giving them houses, teaching them how to work. Instead of giving them welfare, in which they're not gonna do anything, they're just gonna keep receiving welfare. It's gonna ruin the country even more.
If people are expecting money to come in from the government for them not doing anything, then that's what they're just going to continue doing. So all the jobs that you're supposedly trying to make isn't going to go anywhere. It's just, you're just giving your money away. You're not giving it to people who actually want to work.
It's just like the president said in his speech, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach him how to fish, you feed him for life. The thing is, the Philippines is contradicting themselves in doing so by having this welfare program. Honestly, the Philippines really needs to rethink about its politicians and how, we need to have actually politicians that aren't celebrities. We need to have politicians that actually go to school and, come from and actually know what they're doing and actually care about the country, rather than having just a title itself. Because that's basically what a lot of politicians are. They're just a title or a figurehead. And we actually need people who are going to run the country well.
Okay, the last thing that we want to talk about is the article wasn't mentioned. So that's what we should talk about. But that's the thing with the Catholic Church. Was how they were saying that because of the attacks in Zamboanga and the earthquakes that rocked the Central Visayas and the recent Yolanda, how we've recovered so fast and things like that. And then they were comparing other countries on how it took them forever to recover, and they used the states like Hurricane Katrina. It took them over 8 years to finish. But what's the difference between them and other countries are, no offense to the Philippines, but we're already poor. We're already in poverty. If things get destructed, then
you don't have anything to build upon.
Yeah.
There's nothing to, you can say, basically the Philippines can say that we've, recovered so fast is because we have nothing. So if you have nothing, then there's nothing to lose.
Right. We're already starting with, the sachet packs, or if you order a soda, it's already in bags. You don't have the bottles. or
You live for the day, not for the future, basically.
Exactly.
So when you live for the day, you don't really have anything to work upon for tomorrow. You don't live for the future.
So using them as an example and trying to create
Rehabilitation.
thank you, plan, then I mean it's good that you want to fix everything. Shh, don't judge me. But if we haven't really had any problems because we're so used to living one thing, then it's not gonna go into as much effect. Like, we should most definitely help the people who, houses got destructed or people who got like hurt and stuff, but you shouldn't try to like spend a whole bunch of money trying to build something up that wasn't already there. If that makes any sense. And then you have, what else do you want to talk about?
Basically, what the whole thing is that also I've noticed that instead of like from what I've been seeing in the news about SONA, it wasn't even the speech that was solely focused on SONA. It was basically what the celebrities who were attending SONA were wearing and things like that. That really, it's the State of the Nation address. Okay, it's not a fashion show. It's serious stuff about our government, and people treat it as if they're going to a party. Like it should be a solemn event wherein you talk about real things. It shouldn't be like, oh, who's wearing this dress, who's doing this, oh, this person. Like, no, we're talking about real stuff within our government. Stop trying to make it all about, like looking good. Because our country doesn't look good. Our country needs a lot of work. For a country, to be older, then, are we older than the Philippines? Well, for a country, that wants to build up, right? You have to stop. As the Philippines, we have to stop comparing ourselves to other countries and start focusing on ourselves and building ourselves up. For example, what you said about Manila. Manila's the capital, and it looks like shit.
Yeah, I think right now, if there was an airport here in Global City, that would be a better spot because Global City actually looks nicer. Or if it was towards, the beach or, one of the nicer places, it'd be like really beautiful. But you come here, when I land from traveling anywhere,
smell the smoke.
It's pure humidity.
Smell
it's
the
pollution.
pollution.
Everything. Like we need to fix that before we try to invite a whole bunch of other people coming into our country and wanting to build businesses. It's your first impression when you land in the country. It's not when you explore the country, right? Your first impression will always be your last impression. So yeah, the end of our SONA.
I mean, we can talk more about this, but I think we're gonna get really mad, and
okay. Peace out.
It's 10.
Bye bye. Peace out. Peace out.